you like swallowing your mic, Yamcha? It sounds really. Yeah, I'm still coughing, and it's been like over a week. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Flushed Cast. I'm Bullet,
I'm Yamcha.
I'm Sam.
and we're all three of us are here for the first time since like episode 3, for the whole thing at least. And it's the first time we've all been here without a guest since episode 1.
Wonderful.
So yeah, this is monumentous episode. So
Let's go.
We're going to be talking about, we're doing a Stanley Kubrick special. This week we're talking about 3 of his films: The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. Let's go. I think we should go in chronological order. So let's start with The Shining.
What did you think, Bullet?
Yeah, Bullet.
Well, this is going to be oh my god, this is going to be controversial, but it's shit.
Yeah.
Would you really go that far?
Mediocre. I'd go mediocre. Yeah, there's a lot to love about it, I think, but there's an equal amount that I just can't stand, and yeah.
I'm just gonna let Bullet do his thing.
Yeah. Just talk.
I don't even need to. I don't think Yamcha and I need to counterpoint. We can
Yeah.
just let him say his thing.
Kids,
and
we're Chads. We know this movie. It's good. That's all we have to say. Bullet, whatever you are, just
Okay, why don't you say why it's so good? Because I've made a lot of points about why I don't think it is. So why don't?
it's good.
because it's good.
Yeah, it's good. 2 against
Because
1.
it's The Shining.
No. Just come on.
I'll just list off the obvious. The production design, obviously.
That I agree with. Yeah, it's really good. It's
I would
really great.
say the production design for this film is, not counting like science fiction films, it's probably like the most iconic production design for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely up there. Yeah.
Where pretty much every room in that hotel has been like ingrained into pop culture.
Yeah.
You know, a movie's iconic when the fucking carpet is like a piece of pop culture.
Yeah. Even like the bathroom. There's like that's referenced in like an episode of Hannibal and stuff. So that's like it's yeah.
The Shining is almost too iconic for its own good, because I think for a lot of people who are like my age and in this generation, they don't know these moments for The Shining. They know it for the Simpsons Shining parody from Treehouse of Horror.
I mean that's unironically better than the actual Shining, but yeah.
No.
It's just this thing where it's like The Shining loses, just in with it being so iconic, it loses a bit of its, like, I don't know, it loses a bit of itself just because of how like everything about it is so normalized now. Like, we're all just used to these things, when in the context of the film it's supposed to be very abstract and not normal. But now, like, everybody knows the 2 kids sitting in the hallway.
Kinda yeah. But at the same time, that stuff does just feel like just random stuff for the sake of it. It doesn't feel like there's any purpose to any of that.
Well, they're
It just yeah.
If I recall correctly, because I didn't rewatch it, but if I recall correctly, they're the like ghosts who had died in the hotel.
Yeah. They were the guy's children who murdered his
Mhm.
family.
Was that explained in the longer American cut? Because I don't remember that being in.
Yeah, it's definitely explained, or it's definitely pretty clear in there that they're the kids.
Yeah.
I think at one point we see their corpses.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think it's also a bit weird because we're pretty much, Yamcha and I are talking about one cut, but Bullet's talking about a different cut.
I mean,
We're talking about the stupid cut, the one that Kubrick made for the dumb American audiences who wouldn't understand The Shining.
which one is supposed to be better? Like, is there like a general consensus on that? Because I mean, each of us, you guys have only seen the American version, and I've only seen the international version. So
I think, like, the die-hard fans of The Shining prefer the European one,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the American one's probably better for general audiences or people who aren't as into it.
maybe, but I mean, being not long enough wasn't this film's issue though, so I doubt I'd like it more.
See, I don't think this movie feels too long.
No, I thought the pacing was fine.
Oh, it's way too long. There's just But I'm just gonna get to my main issue with this film. I don't think Jack Nicholson was right for this part at all. He's completely miscast because he's very good at the crazy stuff that he has to do at the end when he's like chasing them around with an axe and everything. He's great at that, but he's playing on that level throughout the whole film when it's supposed to be about his descent into madness. So that doesn't really work for me.
See, I do think maybe he probably should have been a bit more toned down towards the beginning, but I don't think he's on that level through the entire thing. I do definitely think there's a visible change in his character throughout.
I don't rank his craziness on like a 1 to 10 scale. So like he goes from a 9 to a 10 basically.
Mm.
No, I don't think he's that insane.
Like even in he gives off such weird vibes even in like the opening scene. Well, not like the scene when he's in like the interview at the beginning. Like you just you get the feeling he's planning to kill his family right then and there. It's yeah.
I don't know.
He just it's I think completely miscast, and similar to that, I don't think Shelley Duvall is very good in this either.
She's definitely the one part about the film that I don't care for.
It's quite one of that Kubrick was like very unpleasant to her during filming, and I don't think that even paid off really. So yeah,
It's almost hard to criticize that performance when you consider everything that was going on. Because she was probably just scared shitless on set.
I mean, I agree with that, but that doesn't mean it's a good performance either. Like
I agree.
I thought the score was great.
Score's great.
the music's really good too. Yeah.
The pacing was fine for me. I don't know what you were thinking.
I never thought it felt too long. I don't know.
I mean, if I thought the European cut was too long or the international cut was too long, I dread to think what I'd think of the American version.
Oh, who knows? Maybe that one's better paced.
I do plan on watching that at some point though, because I mean, I would have watched it for this, so we could be talking about the same one. Just by Blu-ray only has the international version.
It's weird how like I didn't check. I was gonna check if my 4K copy had the international version because it might, but I do not know. But it's weird how they haven't done that for The Shining, like made them both available.
Yeah.
But I guess that's Warner Brothers. You look at fucking Apocalypse Now, and they'll include 3 versions of the movie on like the same copy.
Yeah, I want to watch that at some point, but there's like so many different versions. I don't know which one to watch. Like there's.
Apparently, the definitive one is the final cut, like the most recent one.
Okay. I've really said my piece on it. I think technically it's really well made, like with all the the production design, like we said, the score, it's really well shot. I mean, it's Stanley Kubrick, so of course it's well directed. And it's like I just think there's so much here that I do like that makes the fact that I dislike so much of it just hurts even more, because this with just a few changes, like just changing the 2 leads, I think this would have been a much better movie.
No, that's good.
I think this is my favorite Kubrick that I've seen so far.
The only 3 you've seen are the ones we're doing this episode, aren't they?
Yeah.
So for you, they get worse as they go on. For me, they get better, I guess.
I don't know where the fuck I stand on that. Probably Full Metal Jacket's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Then The Shining, then Eyes Wide Shut.
So do you want to do ratings and move on to Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll get my controversial one over with. 5 out of 10. It gets like 5 points for all the technical stuff, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's just both go 10, so
Okay,
that way
yeah.
Bullet has to give it a higher score
So yeah,
on the box.
it's a 10.
But Sam, so you said you like Full Metal Jacket more, but you're giving this a 10, but Full Metal Jacket a 9.
I will not explain myself.
I was like, come on, have some credibility, come on.
Alright, fine. 9.9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I like it. I just, Shelley Duvall, not great in it, other than that.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't have to be a perfect film to be a 10 out of 10. It's more about my enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree as well. I mean, I don't think any of my 10 out of 10s I'd call perfect. Every film has like something I don't like in it. Even like my favorite film, Alien, there's stuff I don't like in that. Anyway, so on to Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird.
So, yeah, Full Metal Jacket it's kind of a war movie, and it's kind of a war, I guess, boot camp movie.
It's very much a film with 2 halves.
I'm really surprised that in the genres for this they don't put comedy.
I was really laughing at Full Metal Jacket when Vincent D'Onofrio blew that dude right in the chest. That was great.
Then his own head.
Yeah, that just
Yeah.
had me rolling on the
Mhm.
ground.
Peak comedy.
The scene where he's getting hit by the soap bars.
Some of the stuff that like Arliami says is quite funny, but I mean it's in a dark way. Like
The general's great.
he's the highlight of the film,
Mhm.
in my
Yeah,
opinion. He's so great. He's like similar to like how you said The Shining has like infiltrated pop culture. I think he's basically the definitive drill sergeant in film now. Like
Yeah,
any drill sergeant is going to be compared to Arliami in Full Metal Jacket at this point.
him being so good is almost a detriment to the rest of the movie because nobody talks about the second half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, nobody talks about it at all. And like when the drill sergeant stuff ended so early, I was a bit confused because I was like, wait, what? Now we're moving on? Because I knew there was stuff after that, but I thought, based on the way everybody talked about that, I thought it was just like the final act of the movie,
Mhm.
not the entire second half of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with the majority of people on this in that I think the first half at the boot camp is much better than the stuff in Vietnam
yeah.
afterwards. Not that the stuff in Vietnam is bad or at all. That's really great stuff. I think the 45 minutes at the start of the boot camp, I just think are like basically perfect.
It is better, but I don't think it's that much better. Like, I still think the stuff in Vietnam holds its own.
Oh, I agree. It's really great stuff. It's just it's just not quite as good as the rest. The stuff at the beginning, I mean.
I don't know. It's tough to talk about this movie because it's like you're basically almost talking about two different things
Mhm.
because of how
Yeah.
different they are. I like Vincent D'Onofrio a lot in this too.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think everybody talks about the drill sergeant, but I think he is a major highlight of that whole segment too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't really care for Private Joker as the main character.
Yeah, it would have been better if it was the Joker.
Yeah, Jared Leto sitting there.
Oh god, what hijinks would he have got up to in this movie?
If they remade Full Metal Jacket, Jared Leto would play the drill sergeant. He'd just be a really creepy drill sergeant.
But yeah, I like how the stuff at the start where you just see this like the psychological torment of this guy just drives him to. I just find that really compelling.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like and it is. There's like humor to it, but in a very dark way.
I liked a lot of the music that it uses.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Mhm.
The entire final sequence is really good too.
Yeah. I think the final 15 minutes are really great. So after it cuts to the second half of the movie, I feel like the first sort of 10 minutes of the second half are a bit weaker, but then it starts to get going again after that, I think.
Yeah. I liked the final scene where they're just marching
Yeah.
and singing.
Yeah.
I think Kubrick, for the most part, is the master of like final scenes in films.
Mhm.
The final scene in The Shining is perfect. The final
I
scene in
don't-
this is perfect. The final scene in 2001 is perfect. You know, the finale.
Yeah.
Doctor Strangelove, all that stuff.
I gotta rewatch Doctor Strangelove. I haven't seen that in ages.
Well, were you gonna shit on The Shining's ending?
Maybe.
It's perfect. It is the
It is
perfect
not.
ending.
I quite liked it.
It takes everything that you thought you knew about the movie and it sort of twists it on its head. It adds, at the very last second, it fucks with you even more and brings in another detail that has been hinted at through the entire film, but you never fully realize what it is until the final moment.
Fight me, Kubrick.
I think you'd win that fight nowadays, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
I thought that the change from the first half to the second half was too sudden. I don't know.
I kind of liked it, to be honest.
It's abrupt, but I think it works though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is abrupt, but yeah, I think it works.
One thing I will say about this movie is this feels like a movie where like diehard patriots would severely like misunderstand the point of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I really like the way this movie looks.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think you really need to say that with any Kubrick film.
Yeah, I mean it's a given that they're going to look amazing. Yeah, I mean especially his latter day films.
I do have to give a lot of credit to the people who remastered this recently. This and The Shining, I think they did a wonderful job remastering these films and Because I think a lot of remasters nowadays really suck the life out of the movie. Like, you look at the original Star Wars films, and they're just much less colorful now.
Yeah.
But the fine people at the great company Warner Brothers, who we have no complaints with whatsoever.
Yeah.
As
You may want
affiliate
to
of the Fleshcast.
you may want to avoid last episode.
They did a great job remastering these films and sort of keeping what makes them work visually.
Do you want to do ratings and go to Ice White Shirt?
Sure. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
And I gave this a 9 out of 10. I think the way I rated this is like, I think the first half is like a basically perfect, it's like a 10 out of 10, and the second half is an 8 out of 10, so I kind of meet it in the middle and give it a 9.
Yeah.
On to Eyes Wide Shut.
Redemption, now's your time to shine.
Okay.
In 200 words, in at least 200 words, describe the plot of Eyes Wide Shut.
Why do you always do this to me? You always have me describe plots. Okay, so man named by person, the doctor, Tom Cruise, he tries to find person to do sex.
I mean, that's an oversimplification, but yeah, that's the first half of the movie, at least. Yeah, it's horny Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is horny and confused.
He's horny and roaming the streets of New York.
So this is Kubrick's last film, right?
Yeah, he died a couple months before it released. I would be fascinated to see what this movie would be like if he at least survived to its release, because he's notorious for like tinkering, kind of like a George Lucas. He's notorious for like tinkering with his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to the extent of it tinkering it after it's been released like Lucas, but he'd like up until release.
He did kind of. I think 2001. While it was in release, he cut out a few. Or no, The Shining. He cut out a few scenes while it was in release.
But it's not to this extent of Lucas when he's like 20 years down the line, he's adding McClunky to the.
Instead of "Here's Johnny," it's McClunky.
I need to edit that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
yeah, the studio claimed that he turned in this as his final cut like a few days before he died. Yeah, I feel like the version we got would have been slightly different if he survived, which I don't know if it'd be better, I don't know if it'd be worse, I just would be fascinated to see it. Obviously we won't ever, but yeah.
I think for the most part, like the two big movies that I know about that he tinkered with were 2001 and The Shining.
Yeah.
And pretty much every change he made. Like The Shining, he cut out an epilogue, which kind of ruins the ending to me. So I'm glad he cut out that. And then 2001, he cut out a lot of stuff that just bloated the movie. So I think it probably would have made it better, but like, of course, there's no real telling.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have done anything, as far as we know.
Yeah, this may have been his. This may have been his actual final cut, but yeah, we'll never know. But as it is, I think this is Kubrick's second best film. I mean, my favorite is 2001. I think this is his second best. Yamcha, explain why we're wrong.
Well, so the movie is just boring up until the cult part, and then it starts to get slightly less boring, but it's still boring. The set design's fine, I guess. Nothing spectacular, but it's interesting.
Oh no, I really like the whole look of this, like all the design of everything. The especially the mansion, the cult bit. It's like the whole movie's like dripping with atmosphere, which I really like. It feels almost dreamlike.
The look of the movie really reminded me of, like, when he's out in New York streets, it really reminded me of After Hours.
Yeah, that
the
same
Martin Scorsese film.
Yeah, which I watched recently. That yeah.
I mean, this is very similar to that. Both of them deal with a guy who just wants to fuck.
Yeah. Although that's very much a comedy, this is very much not.
Yeah. I really like the Christmas lights. I like the use of that.
Yeah, same.
And there's a lot of yellow and blue throughout.
Yeah.
One problem I did have with the lighting, there's a scene where Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman are like in their house or their apartment and they're talking, and in the room it's like all the lights are on and it's like a yellow room basically, like everything's lit, and then the like kitchen right next to them, where there's like a door and you can see in there. It's just deep blue, like just a dark blue, and I'm like, it just doesn't look
no,
right.
I know what you're talking about. That yeah, it's a bit weird.
I do think the look of this movie is pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I wasn't watching it at a very high quality, so it was I don't know, but
I would really like to see a remaster of this. I think that would be really nice.
Yeah, I think that would look really good. I mean, if they did a 4K version, I mean, I'm sure they will at some point. But when they do, I'd be hyped. I'd get it. Yeah.
Warner Brothers has been doing like one Kubrick 4K a year typically, so hopefully next year's Eyes Wide Shut.
What was this year's one?
This year's going to be A Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
Don't know that they own any of the others. They might own Barry Lyndon.
I don't know.
Doctor Strangelove and Spartacus already got 4Ks.
Just looking on Letterboxd, Warner Bros. Listed as one of the studios for Barry Lyndon, so I guess.
Alright. My guess would be they would do Eyes Wide Shut before Barry Lyndon. But my guess is that's next year.
Okay. I'll definitely get that whenever they release it, though.
Warner Brothers, as long as they don't like shut down their Blu-ray division, they're probably going to get around to Eyes Wide Shut. Soon.
Yeah. That'd be really disappointing if they shut it down before getting to this, though.
I feel like Warner Brothers is really good about 4K releases. Like theirs are some of the better ones on the market. So I really hope they don't shut down.
I don't know how much you guys know about like the making of this movie, but this was shot over like 400 days, which is
Really?
it was a fucking really long shoot, and
What took it so long?
I don't know, just Kubrick being Kubrick, I guess.
it's not even that complex of a
Yeah, I know.
film.
I mean, they basically recreated like the streets of New York in the UK for where it was being shot. So
That makes a lot of sense because
Mhm.
when I was watching it, there was one shot where I was looking at it and I was like, that just looks like a set. Like when he's
Yeah.
walking around
Yeah.
the street, I was like, that just looks like a set. I
Yeah,
don't
that
think they
was-
actually went to New York.
no, that was a recreation in somewhere in the UK. I don't know where.
It does look good, but it still looks like a set.
Yeah.
Like I assume something like After Hours was shot in New York, and you can tell with that more so.
Yeah. Although I don't think this looks bad at all, though, in that regard.
I don't think it looks bad. I just think it looks like they're on a set.
Yeah, kind of. In some shots more than others.
Yeah.
I think I really like both the leads in this, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I think they're really great.
I wouldn't even call Nicole Kidman like a lead though.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
She's not as much as Tom Cruise, but she's the second main character.
She just disappears from the movie for like a good chunk of it.
Kinda, yeah, but I mean, she's like the secondary major character though.
Yeah, but like I don't know. She's important at the beginning when she basically sets up what happens, and then she disappears. I guess she's asleep,
Yeah.
and then she wakes up, and more shit happens, and then she goes back.
I mean, I'd say this is probably my favorite Tom Cruise performance, and I'm very qualified to judge this since I've watched like 30 films of his this month.
Are you though?
Yeah, I think I'm more qualified.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's good in it, but I don't think he's particularly amazing.
I think you get a lot from him in this.
I don't think he's the best person for the role, but I also don't know who I would have picked for it.
Yeah.
Like my thoughts on Jack Nicholson then.
Yeah, I think there certainly could have been a better person for it.
I think he's really great in it. This is I've currently seen 30 Tom Cruise movies. This is my third favorite.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
I only got 12 left. It's fine.
I just didn't care for the movie. I don't
Although
know.
to be fair, you did watch it over like 2 days, like with a whole day in between, which I can't
That's
imagine.
how you watched it,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but I gave it like a pretty decent score.
No, you didn't. You gave it like a 5 out of 10.
I gave it like a 7. I thought.
No, you gave it lower than that.
Oh no, it's in the middle of it. So I give it a 6. But I mean,
But like I didn't like it when I started it, and I started to like it today when I finished it. So I don't know.
I remember you said to me you didn't want to watch the rest of this.
Yeah, I really didn't.
I think it's It's good. It's definitely my least favorite Kubrick film so far, but that's not to say it's bad.
Which ones have you seen?
The Shining, 2001, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, and Doctor Strangelove.
Okay. This is my... I've seen all of his stuff, and this is my second favourite. And Full Metal Jacket's my third favourite, it's only just behind.
I already know I can't trust you with your opinion on Kubrick, so...
What else is there with this one? Oh yeah, the ending. I didn't think it worked as well as it probably could have.
Yeah, it kind of just ended.
I think it's pretty good.
It felt a little too abrupt to me. I don't know.
I felt like there could have been more.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of like that it just, like, sort of... I kind of like the abruptness of it. It just... I never think that I'm missing out on anything afterwards.
it's fine, but like when I compare it to the other Kubrick endings, like it doesn't really hold a candle, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it's tough to compare something like this to the ending of 2001 because, like, that's 2001.
I mean, they're completely different films, though, so I think that's an unfair comparison anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
they only
other
have
than the director. But,
other than Kubrick, there's like no connection between them. Yeah.
But just in general, with all of his endings, the endings typically stick with me for a while, and with this, it just didn't do much for me.
But at the same time, I don't think it's intended really to stick with you. I don't think that's the intention of it. The ending, but the specific ending. I mean, I don't think it's really asking to stick with you.
I liked the cult stuff.
I really like how you never really get any sort of clear-cut answers as to what like the cult was. You get like about the dead woman, you get answers about that, but like the actual cult, it just stays a mystery, which I really like. I feel like a lesser film would have tried to explain that, but they just it just you don't get any answers, which just adds to the mystery of it. I think that the whole like central mystery of it, of what this like cult is, I really like. Yeah.
Listen, on the topic of cults, I have to say, I'm a bit confused how Tom Cruise can star in this and also be a member of Scientology. It feels very against what this film would be saying.
There's one of the top reviews on Letterboxd for this is like, it's I don't care about you guys, but I could see Tom Cruise attending something like this in real life.
I mean, he definitely does with fucking Scientology and shit.
Yeah,
but I just don't get it. I don't get how he could go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go join a cult after this.
I mean, was he in Scientology before or after this?
He was probably in it before.
Also, yeah, the top review of Ice Wide Shut. This isn't even a thriller. Rich people just be like that.
I think one scene that stuck with me was the scene where Tom Cruise returns the costume.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, that's a really good scene.
And shit gets fucked.
Yeah, and like that guy's like whoring out his daughter, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole movie is just incredibly horny.
Although I don't know about that. The characters in it, like Tom Cruise, is horny in it, but I don't think the movie itself is, because it's not lusting over its actors like like other movies would. It's like it films the nudity in a very matter-of-fact way, I think, which it's not like objectifying it.
That's fair, yeah.
Do you want to do ratings? We're flying through this. Okay, I will give this a 9 out of 10. Really great.
I give this a 5 out of 10.
I'm right in the middle, 7 out of 10.
I think this is our most controversial film we've done on the podcast between us three.
I don't know.
The Shining would be more controversial, I think, because because I gave that a 5. I think you gave it a 10, Yamcha, so that's like 5 points different. This is only 4 points difference.
Well, if we're looking at it, like, all of us have a different opinion on it.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
True, I guess. Do you want to talk about Green Knight, Sam?
Sure. Green Knight is a new movie. Basically, the plot follows the, I guess the old story. It's like a medieval story, I think, of Sir, I think it's Gawain or something.
It's not a true story, is it?
No. Well, one of the guys is made out of tree, so.
Oh, okay.
But basically, the original story, if you don't know, it's this guy who is like, I think he's the nephew of the king and in the movie it's like the Christmas dinner. He's sitting with the king and the queen, um, and this Green Knight shows up. This big guy made out of like a tree, and he basically offers a challenge where whoever steps forward and like lands a bow or Jesus Christ, sorry, a blow on him. Whoever hits the Green Knight will be the victor. But then 1 year from that day, they have to seek out the Green Knight, and the Green Knight will return the blow like exactly. And the guy ends up decapitating the Green Knight. So then the whole story is he has to go and basically figure out if he wants to actually follow through with it and get decapitated or not. So it's basically following his journey of like it all has to do with honor and like how people with honor are perceived in that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like his actions, whether or not they're honorable. And I will say this movie looks. I think one of the biggest takeaways is this movie looks just amazing. I'm gonna bring up the cinnamon topography and say it looks very good. Great visuals, great music. I think the ending absolutely makes the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard you bring up the ending. Yeah, I mean, don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. I have heard some people complain about the ending because it's not book accurate, but I don't really give a fuck.
This was based on a book, then.
It's based on like an old like story, yeah, like an old book. That's been. I think Tolkien did an adaptation at some point.
Okay.
And that's like the most famous one, but this one certainly takes its own like. It goes in its own direction in a lot of ways, from what I understand. But the entire ending, I think, works incredibly well in the context of the film. And just comparing the two endings, I think I prefer the new ending, which may be controversial, but I really like it. And Dev Patel is also really great in it.
Oh, really? I mean, the only film I've seen him in is Slumdog Millionaire, which I wasn't that big a fan of him in, but okay.
I think he's really good in this. They do a weird thing where, what's her name? Alicia Vikander or something? Vikander, she was in the Tomb Raider reboot, I think.
Oh yeah, she Ex Machina she was in.
Yeah, she plays like multiple roles for some reason.
Okay.
Which, there's kind of a reason behind it, but I mean I won't say anything, but like it's not like the characters are related or anything. She just plays two characters in the film for some reason. But I don't think I entirely get the film. It's one of those movies where you don't really get it, but you enjoy it. But yeah, that is The Green Knight. It's good.
I'll definitely try and see it at some point.
Yeah, I didn't know this was coming out until a few days ago.
One other thing I will bring up with the film, a lot of people are complaining that it's way too long, but I did not get that at all. I thought it was a pretty good runtime.
I mean, according to Letterboxd, it's only 130 minutes. That's not too long.
When the movie first came out and I was looking around on reactions, the biggest reaction that I saw was this movie was way too long.
Okay.
I disagreed with that. I think it's not like short, but decently paced because for the most part it's just a bunch of separate incidents or like adventures with the main character.
Okay.
Which sort of keeps the pace going because it's not really stopping; it's always going.
Out of 10?
I go 8 out of 10.
Okay, nice. Right, I will briefly talk about the Suicide Squad. About no spoilers though, because you guys, I mean, it's not out for you guys yet. So, I liked the Suicide Squad. It was good.
Who is the best member of the Suicide Squad in this film?
I mean, I liked the two of the three main ones, like John Cena and Idris Elba.
Bloodsport and Peacemaker.
That's the one. Yeah. They were good in it. He was only in it. Wasn't in it that much, but the TDK. He was really good. I thought for the bit he was in.
Who's that?
Nathan Fillion, I believe.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It's surprised you're not saying Capaldi.
Oh, he was great too. I mean, but I'm not saying him because he wasn't part of the Suicide Squad in the movie. But yeah,
Oh,
he was really
I
good
didn't
in
know
it.
that.
No, yeah, he was good.
Based
Yeah.
on your description of Nathan Fillion's runtime, I would be very, very surprised if he dies early on in the film. That would just absolutely shock me.
Fuck! I gave that one away, didn't I?
That was so fucking obvious. I think about 5 or 6 of those, or not 5 or 6, but like 3 or 4 of those characters, you can tell who's gonna die. You know,
Yeah.
you could tell by first of all who they're focusing on in the marketing,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
who's like the big name actors. Like,
I mean, even the order of the cast on Letterboxd just is a dead giveaway, so I'd avoid looking at that if you want to avoid spoilers.
I'm not really expecting Javelin to survive that
I would either confirm
Uh,
nor deny whether that's accurate.
long. Oh no, not Javelin.
The one part that sort of really dragged it down for me was I cannot fucking stand Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie, it's not her fault 'cause it's just the way the character's written, but just every scene that focused on her was the weakest part of the movie for me.
Then you're gonna hate Birds of Prey.
I mean,
Yeah, you would despise that
I'm
film.
not gonna hate it because I never plan on watching it. um, Something that was really impressive is that Amanda Waller managed to be the most hateable person in a universe that also contains Jared Leto. That was very impressive. Yeah, I just can't. Well, I mean, it's intentional. The character is supposed to be despisable, but yeah,
Yeah.
I hate the character. I find her really unlikable. But again, that's the point.
She's really
Yeah.
unlikable in the first one
And
too.
yeah, I mean, I think that's just the character in general because I've watched Arrow and she's in that and she's insufferable in that as well. Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of the Guardians movies as you guys are, so you probably like it more because it is very James Gunn. I think most of the jokes landed, but some didn't really.
Based on the trailer, there's a few that I could tell weren't gonna land.
I mean, I don't think I've seen a single trailer for this movie, so I don't know what's in that.
We covered one of the trailers one time, so
Oh, I must have seen that then.
The joke about John Cena wanting to eat beach full of dicks didn't really
Oh,
look like it was gonna
That
land.
didn't really work either. Yeah, that was one that didn't.
I don't like John Cena as an actor, so I'm really wondering to see what he's like in this.
I'm. Is this his? I'm torn between whether this is his best movie of the year or if F9 is.
Like if the film itself is better, or if the
Oh,
movie's
the film
better.
just in general.
I'm excited to see him in this.
He was-
'cause he seems super passionate about this
he
character.
was good in it. The role didn't really ask him to do much acting, so yeah, it was good. The one thing I will say is this movie could have been maybe 20 minutes shorter. I think.
Hmm.
How long is it?
Same like this Green Knight, 130 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I think I was getting a bit tired of it by the end. I think maybe 10-15 minutes off would have been better. I'll give it I gave it a 7 out of 10. We could talk about this more next week once you guys have seen it, I guess, or next episode once you guys have seen it.
I'll be seeing it in IMAX on
Nice.
Thursday.
I'll just watch it on HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's coming to HBO early, actually.
Oh.
They're adding it on the 5th,
Oh, nice.
like that night, I think.
Also, there's there's new news that the Marvel What If series is going to be canon.
Well, I haven't seen this.
It's going to take place during the after Loki.
Okay.
My guess is the Watcher is the canon character, but the rest of it is probably...
This makes sense. Because I guess they just said it wasn't canon to cover up the ending of Loki. I guess that makes sense.
Mhm.
I mean, to be honest, it being canon doesn't really increase my interest in the show. at all.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a 6 out of 10 level of excitement for it. Not particularly, but I mean, I'll watch it.
I like how they said that one of the episode plots was apparently like half the plot of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. That just gets me more excited for that film because it means it's weird as shit.
Hopefully it's just not like an existing character becoming a member.
Just one more. Just you mentioned Guardians. That brings me on to one more point about Suicide Squad briefly. Feels like the Suicide Squad feels like the movie he kind of wanted to make with Guardians, but he didn't have any. But he was kind of being restrained by Disney on that and Marvel. Here he was just allowed to sort of go nuts. Yeah.
Back on What If, one thing I am looking forward to is seeing Chadwick Boseman.
Oh yeah, this is
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
his last role, isn't it?
Apparently, he did 4 episodes of it, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So he's really good as Black Panther.
Also, the thing with that show that's weird is, like with the voice actors, apparently some actors got asked to do it and some actors didn't.
Huh.
Like, Dave Bautista was never asked to come back as Drax, which is just weird to me.
Huh. Yeah, weird. That is weird.
Tom Holland isn't coming back. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. is not coming back.
Maybe they
Chris Evans isn't.
maybe they
coming
don't
back.
want to use up. I mean, that's understandable. It makes sense for like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Because
Yeah.
I know Chris Evans has said he's open to doing the role again. I think, but yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is done with it. I think. Is it just that they don't want to use up space on their contracts for a voice role?
That, and they probably don't want to like blow the budget of the show on famous actors, because I doubt the show is going to be as big of a hit as the other Marvel shows.
Oh, it most likely won't be.
Mhm.
I mean, this is more for sort of like, this is more niche in its general
Yeah.
concept.
The diehard fans and the children. It's basically just the Bad Batch, but for Marvel. The diehard fans and the children are the only people who care.
Mhm.
Best new watches of July. I was just counting it up. Then I watched like 50 films for the first time in July. So I need to. I mean, I think if we're talking purely on like highest rating, my favorite new watch of July was Coco. When I did my Pixar watch through, I gave that a 9. Yeah, I don't have much to say, but it was really great.
My highest new watch was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That was really good.
My highest new watch was Pig.
Oh, okay. Oh, do you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, Pig's really fucking great. I don't want to use this term because it, for some reason, has negative connotations. But it pretty much subverts all expectations of a revenge film.
So it's not just John Wick with a pig.
No, it's pretty much, imagine the opposite of John Wick, and that's basically what this is. Every bit as effective, if not more effective, than John Wick and what it's trying to accomplish.
I mean, I don't think John Wick was particularly effective, so I'd probably like this more.
I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it rides this very fine line where you feel like it's about to go to the point where everything's going to snap. You're almost dreading the moment where Nicolas Cage goes, "I know how we're going to solve this problem," and he goes into his fucking like house and he pulls out like an AK-47, and he's like, "We're going to solve it like this."
When is the movie set? Is it like modern day? Is it?
Yeah, it's modern day. He goes into his house and goes, "We're going to turn these guys into bacon." All of the performances are great. Nicolas Cage is fantastic in it, which feels weird to say, but
I like Nick Cage.
he plays a very sort of reserved character.
So he's not going full on. He's not full on Cage.
No, he doesn't go full on Cage in this movie.
That's annoying.
Yeah, if you go into it expecting like what the shit we've been getting nowadays with Nicolas Cage, you'll be disappointed. His performance is definitely really fantastic in this, and there's the secondary character whose name I can't remember. His performance is really good too. I think he was in Hereditary.
Alex
actually.
Wolff.
Yeah, Alex Wolff. He's really great.
Oh, he's in that new M Night movie, Old. Oh wait, Yamcha, what was your best new watch? Oh, it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You said, yeah.
Yeah, if we did shows,
Oh, yeah.
I would do Death Note for that.
Oh, nice. If we're doing shows, I watched Daredevil season 1, which was really great.
If we're doing shows, I guess Bad Batch. I don't watch that many shows in general.
Neither, unless it's like in a universe I already care about, like the Marvel shows or Star Wars shows. I don't really care about it. Do you want to go on to questions? This is a good question from Gardo. What movie has the most characters with amazing hair?
Well, Lord of the Rings has some pretty good.
That's gonna be my
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, because I mean, like every character in that has some great hair.
Even Gollum.
I'm gonna go with something I watched the other day, Interview with the Vampire. Everyone in that's got like some really great hair. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas all got great hair.
What's with you and hair? Do you have a hair fetish?
Oh god.
I've got my Tom Cruise hair ranking that I'm working on at the moment.
Why would you ever do that?
His best hair is Mission Impossible 2, like objectively.
Why are you so obsessed with Tom Cruise? He's like
He's amazing.
the most fake looking man
Oh,
I've ever
shut
seen.
up. This podcast is pro
That
Tom
man
Cruise.
uses so much fucking. He uses so much fucking plastic surgery. He's probably just like a fucking Barbie
He
doll
is
at
he
this
is
point.
superhuman, and I respect him for it.
Yeah, because he's made out of plastic.
Don't you insult my beloved.
If they put him in a scene where it's too hot, he's just gonna melt.
Anyway, let's move on from that question. From Ari, Lord of the Rings, great films or greatest films? Greatest films.
Great, not greatest.
I'll do great for now, but once I finish my rewatch, I might change that.
Yeah, do you want to wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Join us next week, everyone.
Yep.
It'll be a fun one. Well, yeah, we also got a Twitter account that no one uses. You can check that out. We got a Letterboxd account. Check that out. We have a Discord, which I would not recommend joining.
Right.
So go join that. It's in the description. Yeah, we also have a Linktree thing that'll have all of our different accounts and shit. If you're more into listening to podcasts, audio only, I believe we have an audio only version of this. Or if you're listening to this as an audio thing, we have a video version of it on YouTube with some glorious visuals. Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing a special video. By the time this podcast is up, the video will probably be out. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.